Hang on, let's see. You got to let me know if we're actually live. You can see it. So I think I'm going to try to do this from my phone to see.
We are live. Good morning. It says, yes,
Good
indeed.
morning. That's what's up. I love it. Let's see here. I'll turn this ringer mine off. Good morning, Marquita.
Good morning.
Nice to see you.
It's been a while, right?
It has been a while, and it's actually great to be back live again. So, for everybody out there, thank you all for your patience, your understanding. Don't know who knows what, but a lot has happened in what's it been, a couple weeks now, hasn't it? So,
We're like a couple of months, Jen. It's really been quicker than you thought. And actually, I don't know what you have yours on, but if you could put your Zoom on speaker view, that might be better. Um, when I'm seeing it on live, it's switching back and forth. So if we can get both of us in the screen, that would be good.
all right, how about that now?
Yep, perfect.
Good, yes. So I had knee surgery. We had some personal things coming up.
Oh, man.
Once again, you know how we
Yeah.
feel about mom. Sorry for your loss. I mean, we're not going to go there because I understand how sensitive that is. Having recently had gone through something similar this past year. So
You
it's
know what? It's part of life, and I'm just grateful for the opportunity to have her as long as I did.
a real blessing. And
But it's definitely not something that you get over, right away. You just keep moving forward one day at a time.
that's right. That's right. Hey, like that cup. Hey, so you
Thank you.
love that coat, but I also want to share this before we get started.
Uh
It's I want your thoughts.
huh.
Of course, I got to write something over here, but
Oh my gosh, how cute!
what I mean, this has been in the making for probably about a month now. And I was like, she doesn't look like me. Of course, she doesn't
No,
have glasses on. And
and her hair is a little dark, but it's
I
still
think it looks
cool.
dark, really, but it's actually brown. It really
Oh, okay.
doesn't
All
look
right, so it's just
like
not
it.
showing me well. Okay.
But I was like, I mean, if you could just see the comments back and forth, I'm like, she doesn't look like me. Like, really? Alan goes, yes, she does. And they kept
Yes,
telling
she does. Without the glasses, she's kind of, yeah. You're there.
that with yeah. So but if you had seen the face, because they send you the face
Uh huh.
before they put the hair on, and
Oh.
I kept thinking she doesn't look like me, and I send her pictures of people I know, and I'm like, that's who she looks like, not me. They're like, well, wait
Mhm.
till we put the hair on, it'll come together. I'm like, okay, whatever. So
Oh, okay.
I'm on the fence. So you think she looks like me? Okay, I'm gonna do
I
a poll.
do think she looks like you without the glasses. I mean, hey, it's a bobblehead. It's not going to be
Is a
perfect, right?
bobblehead. But I've seen bobbleheads that I think look like
The
the
exact person. Well, of course, you're going to be more hard about it on it because it's you.
it's me, it's me.
So,
Anyway, that's my
right.
bobblehead. That's my hey for the day. We'll see. We'll see. I'm gonna do a poll and get others' opinions. See how they what their
Yeah, why don't you do that?
whoever joins us today. If you saw her, this is my agent for the people. Twin bobblehead. Let me know your thoughts. Does she or does she not look like me without the glasses? Comment below. um.
Yes.
Anyway, I digress. Again, welcome, Marquita. I'm happy to get back started again, bringing some relevant and information, be a resource for folks out there. But as mentioned, or what's in our title, hopefully it does appear. We want to chat about let's talk about folks needing down payments for the misconception of how much do you need, and do you have enough saved to purchase a home. Of course, we've been in this lockdown for what, like 7 months or more now. And a lot of folks, I'm finding, they are realizing that they need more space because not only have we been on lockdown, or I mean, certainly some of those restrictions have eased, but being home, one of the things that have not eased up is homeschool. And then a lot of folks have been afforded the opportunity to stay home and work from home. Of course, we still have our first responders and our healthcare providers, our grocery workers, and folks, our essential people that do need to go to work every day to actually leave out of their home. But for those of us who have been working from home or homeschooling, we realized we needed more space. And in fact, I think you were one of those people.
Yeah, I guess we could go ahead and make it Facebook
Oh,
official at some point.
no. Anyway, but
Hey,
now,
no, it's all good. I definitely was one of those people that figured out that things were going to be a new normal, and it just wasn't enough. The space was there, but it just wasn't conducive for what we need. As far as when you have two different kids and different grades, as well as working from home, as well as at the time my mom who was there, and so just took
yeah,
a leap of faith and went into a bigger space. And I would tell you what, it has worked out perfectly as far as that part is concerned. Everyone has their own space, and we're able to be together when we need to, but be apart and not disturb one another, right? I would be on the phone with a client and we hear answers from Family Feud in the background, right? And
exactly.
although people are understanding, at some point it just, just was an annoyance, should I say. So yeah, so we will at some point make a bigger announcement. But yeah, I was one of those people.
Yeah. Um, so yeah, well, right. And a lot of families are finding that is definitely something that needs to happen. I'm back on speaker mode, aren't I? I mean,
You're on, yes, you're back on like speaker view versus gallery view. Um,
I think what happens is when I minimize my screen, let's see if it goes back.
okay,
It
sure.
actually does that. Let's see what happens if I do this. I'm sorry that I'm pausing here for
Oh, it's okay.
pausing for the cause here. Let's see.
Hey, good morning, Jackie. Thanks for tuning in.
Hey, Jack. Yes. So, but but again, folks are realizing that we need more space. Getting home, we declutter, we're doing a whole lot of things, but more importantly, you just can't. We need more space.
Right.
And
You can't manufacture space just because you throw some things out, right?
correct, correct. But what's also become a concern with folks, I'm finding, is do they have enough money saved? In the misconception that we need at least 20% down, but we'll let you speak to the various opportunities out there where that kind of debunks that not everybody needs 20% down. And a lot of the millennials, believe it or not, my daughter included, my son included, are realizing that they too want to purchase. Well, my daughter did purchase prior to the pandemic, but my son certainly ready to start, to take advantage. But then there are also, what is that age group between 25 and 40? They're needing, or interested in expanding because maybe some of them are ready to settle down or make a family. And then some people are actually realizing they again want more space and moving out of the inner city. And one of the recent surveys was at Point Two Homes stated that over 74% of millennials are interested in buying a home within the next 12 months.
Okay.
But out of that, 88% of them say that they have a significantly less savings than the national average, which again would be, what is it? I think that's based on 20%. But again, not everybody needs that because of the different programs out there. Some first time, depending on the depending on the program that they use. Marquita, you want to jump in and kind of talk about some of the different programs, like either for first time home buyers, repeat buyers, move up, veterans, and then there's also that USDA program.
Hmm. Yeah, I definitely can chime in on some of the differences, some misconceptions. So I think the overall average is about 12% down payment.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, in an area probably like in the Midwest and what we call the flyover states, maybe that's something that's very doable where homes are in the 50 to 150,000 range. However, we live here in the DMV, and we know that the average sales price, or at least for me, the average loan amount or sales price for me is about 365. Okay, so that's pretty hefty. When you start saying 10% of that, that's $36,500, that you may
Right.
not have laying around.
Right.
The great thing is that there are programs for certain groups with no money down, such as our veterans or someone looking to buy in a more rural area. Rural
Right.
areas around here would be, your Fredericksburgs further south. You could get out into Loudoun further west, Culpeper, some of those areas. In Maryland, you're looking at, you go past on Prince George's County, keep going down a little further, you can maybe take advantage of those programs. The challenge with a USDA type of loan, though, is it's income based driven. So if you make too much money, then you're now knocked out of being able to take advantage of no money down. The lowest down payment that we have for people that are not veterans or not doing USDA is 3% for first time buyers, and then up to 5%. So anywhere from 3 to 5% down is what is currently needed. Now, the good thing or the air quotes about that is there are programs to assist with the down payment for first time buyers. There are grants that are being given by the state, as well as just an overall program that you can use with the FHA loan where there is no down payment. I have to give a sidebar though, folks, that, and I think I've said it on here before, like if we're giving you a down payment, then you might have a higher cost, right? You can't have the lowest rates, no money down, and then expect to have the lowest payment. So somewhere there has to be a trade-off. Somewhere there has to be,
Exactly.
a look at in the budget. Do I want to pay, $50 to $100 more a month, or even up to $200 more a month versus liquidating my cash, which we've said is already slim based on the national average of people actually being able to save. So you have a grant program through the state where you still need at least a 1% down payment. So on 365,000, that would be 3,650. That does have some income limitations to it. But then we have another program that allow you actually to, like I said, finance the down payment that's required on an FHA or a conventional loan. So some of those things are there, but like I said, I still think one of the mental barriers of that is that you can't have just the exact lowest payment and then not have any money out of pocket. Like you got to have some skin in the game. And I don't like to see people actually liquidate all of their funds to get in. But here's what's happening, and you can probably speak to this, and I'll bounce it back over to you. Is even if we have a program that's providing the down payment, and we can make a payment that fits into your budget, um, we are in a very competitive market right now. And for the 10 contracts that we've seen for October, 3 of them have closing cost help. So I think there's a misconception between what's down payment, what's actually closing costs. All loans, whether down payment or not, are going to have closing costs if you're using financing. And in the past, we've been able to be creative where sellers have helped pay that, realtors have given credits, lenders have given credits. It's such competition now that you have a shortfall in down payment money, but you also have a shortfall because it's a seller's market and they're not really helping with the closing costs. So I'm just cautioning people that, they think, oh, well, if you have down payment assistance, I don't need to worry about the closing costs. You still do. So I say the bottom line figure is that if you're looking to buy a home, you're going to have to save some money, have some skin in the game, have some type of plan, even if that means borrowing against your 401k or TSP or something other like, which is retirement funds. And you say, whoa, 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 I don't necessarily want to do that. But from a standpoint of looking at borrowing against from yourself, that's probably going to be better. It's going to be paid back to yourself, to you, through a payroll deduction, which you probably won't even miss because of the money coming out before you actually receive your check. And in some regards, and some people don't like this, maybe some of the financial experts won't agree, but if you buy it right, it's actually an investment in your longer term future. So that's just something to think about.
Absolutely. Yeah, and also to that same point, you're right. They have to have skin in the game. And
Yes.
one of the things when we counsel with our buyers, we try to keep them from going to their max approval, because if they don't have, well, let's just say they've taken advantage of some of these down payment assistance programs, like you mentioned, there is still the closing cost. And with this competitive market, a climate that we're in, a lot of sellers are not paying. As you say, what, out of the 10 that you're closing, 3 are getting seller assistance. And I can probably go out on the limb to say I'm sure it's not even the full amount.
No, ma'am. And those price points vary from 365 up to 740. So
Exactly.
it's across the board.
So again, don't go to your max, because one, you may have to roll in some of your closing costs into your what you're financing to increase your offer. So don't go out there. We counsel them and say, listen, guys, let's leave a little space there in the event that the seller is not willing to pay. And that may mean going expanding the search because
Right.
of this competitive climate, because of the lack of inventory. Um, Sellers know that it is a seller's market, and therefore they know they don't have to take that offer that where the buyer needs closing costs, because if you come along asking, they know someone right behind you is not going to ask. And so positioning yourself to reduce the disappointment is key. And also, again, partner, why it's so important to have an educated agent representing you, someone that's knowledgeable about the market, about working with someone like you, Marquita, who can help educate the folks out here and how to position their offer so that it can be accepted, and again, to reduce the disappointment, because more often than not, buyers are not getting the first home that they put offers on. I mean, we've been fortunate, maybe not in all cases. I mean, we're not, we have had to kind of put in an offer here and there, but ideally and ultimately the buyer has gotten the home of their absolute choice. Maybe the first one wasn't the one that they really really wanted, but anyway, um, being able to have someone that can help counsel them, to help prepare their offer and position them so that their offer can get through, and to avoid those disappointments is key, because
Yes, absolutely. And I think some of it boils down to, which we like to very much discount, at least consumers like to discount, is the fact about relationship in a market too, where, you know, competitive offer, competitive market, two contracts come in side by side. Have I ever worked with this lender or realtor? Have I even ever heard of the company that's on the other end? Because believe it or not, getting a mortgage is not easy. And although we've tried very hard to make it seem like a seamless process, there's a lot going on the back end. And if one person drops the ball, there's a domino effect, which ultimately we're dealing with human beings. There's always going to be a challenge, an issue that's going to come up. But when that happens, is there someone that you can be hold accountable? Is there someone that can communicate? Is there someone that, that seller can feel like, hey, I know my house still may, and maybe it's a delay, but we're still certainly going to close. And in speaking to, delays, we still have, the ability to close homes in, that 30-day period. But I have asked people to actually extend it, and not necessarily because of all of the stuff that's going on with the loan in the background. Like, there's this misconception that because of these commercials that come out that say push button, get mortgage, that's what exactly happens. So no, like, one person has to do their job, and if they step out of line or get delayed, then it's going to be a backup in the process. Sometimes you're able to make up the time for other people's delays, but when you have appraisers that are so jammed that your order is due on the 3rd and you get it back on the 11th, certainly you're not making your settlement date, on the 12th, right? So I think there has to be a more collaborative effort, a better conversation between clients and realtors of what the expectations should be for a industry that, believe it or not, and this is a huge increase. You have actually 70% more transactions this time last year, from this time last year, 70%, Well, guess what? You can't hire 70% more people fast enough to get ahead of that. So you already have a system built to maybe close $1 trillion in loans a year that's already at $1.7 trillion already. And
Yes.
it's continue to go. So I just think that's also part of it, far as, emotions, timing, winning an offer. Also, it is relationship. And I'm not going to say that everything's going to be perfect, but I will say too that you're not going to end up, in somebody's voicemail queue or no response for days when you're trying to figure out, what's going on the back end.
Marquita, that is key.
Mm-hmm.
That is very key, relationships. But also, again, as we said, you got to set the expectation from the very beginning and positioning that offer. You can't, that's part of it, is having the relationship. And in this market, it's key. And making sure we set the expectation. We've just had a couple offers by the grace of God, and the fact that we had these relationships already established and having a good reputation in the industry by working with a team such as you, our mortgage lender, so that we can, again, set the expectation from the onset and have everyone in position. That makes a difference. And I think you're working with Jeremy on one transaction, and right off the break, one of the agent, who's a very good agent on the other end. I respect her, immensely, but it makes a difference when you have a relationship. So again, working with key people and knowledgeable realtors, people that, this is their full-time profession and it's not just something that we do, makes a difference. And also being able to, understand the market and understand, like you said, it's not always tied to the loan. It's the other key players involved. Number one, the appraiser. Like you said, I mean, there is that bottleneck. And then also understanding there's that period of negotiation when it comes down to, right off the break, home inspections. If you even have the opportunity to do one in this competitive climate. And there may be some things that may require getting estimates or getting another party involved just to even see if that's something that's doable. And that may cause a delay to extend, or anything could come up. So that is key. But the bottom line, guys, as we started off this show or this episode, you got to have skin in the game, right? There's many products out there. You don't necessarily have to have 20% down. As you mentioned, for most buyers, on average, it's about 12%. First time home buyers, it's a little less. Veterans, of course, there's no money. Not to say, and this is a thing, some veterans think that they still need to put money down. I've had that question, and that's not true, or I would say necessarily
They
true.
don't they don't need money down, but they still may need money in the transaction. And a lot of them have been spoiled by the glory days of, I have a no money down payment. I have a superstar agent who's negotiated all the closing costs. I'm actually going to go to settlement and get whatever deposit I have back.
Right,
That's just not really happening, right now.
right, right. And so we know that there are different products, but at the end of the day, you got to have money in the game, guys. You certainly want to save money, or at least have some money for your down payment. There are programs out there, as Marquita mentioned, that you may qualify for, but again, there's still, that may not cover all of the expenses. And just just partner with a knowledgeable broker, lender.
So can I
Um,
put
gotta throw that in. But if nothing else, feel free to reach out, give us a call, or DM us and let us know if we can provide you with some information, because I'm finding that, again, most of the folks are, one of this, I think it was NAR, noted that, a lot of the buyers, or the millennials, are considering purchasing within the next 12 months. So, well, what does that look like? I think the greatest percentage was actually 3 months time period. Um,
wow.
yeah, and most were looking at expanding into a single family or detached home versus your condo. So wanting something a little larger. So the greatest percentage of millennials or purchasers that were considering that. but understanding that you do need to have some skin in the game. You've got to save some money just to be on the safe side. And if at the end of the day you were able to take advantage of some of the down payment assistance programs, and also find a seller that's willing to contribute, the bonus is you've got money to buy furniture or to do some decorating in your new home. And you're not walking into the house, flat broke because you've used all the money to purchase. But I will say it, and I'll probably say it until the end. Real estate is one of the best investments that you can have. So, on that note, I think that's all I have for him this week. Marquita, anything else? Any questions out there?
I don't see any questions. Thanks for tuning in. But if there's anything that you need to know or want to know, like I said, feel free to slide in the DM, send us a text, or you can always fill out a contact form at queenofmortgages.com.
Very good. And of course, you all have my information. Again, send us a private message. I'm agentforthepeople.com. Feel free to, if you want to just search, browse, and see what's going on, or you just have questions about home ownership, selling, we're here for you. And lastly, once again, does she look like me? Without the glasses. Leave your comments. I want to know.
Give a like or a comment, but without the glasses, man, I think they got you, sis.
They did. Okay, she even
Yeah.
has the bun in the back.
I know.
Yeah, and the hair is brown. I know it looks dark, but it's actually brown. But anyway, Marquita, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Thank everybody again for joining in. We look forward to bringing you some more relevant information each Saturday. And you guys have a wonderful weekend. Make it a great day. Chat with you next week.
Bye.
Peace.